Hi, I'm James Walter Apitan from ECE21, and in this video, I'm presenting the results of the Experiment 1 different function. The objectives of this experiment is to experiment with the escape character command to discover and fixing basic syntax errors and to become familiar with the print function and its formatting capabilities. So let's start. For the first part of this experiment is that we will use the print function to print hello Python. First, type print and use double quotes around the string. Hello Python. There. Next is to use the print function again. But this time, use my first name, James. There we go. And next is to remove the double quotes and run the code. What will be the error? Well, the name, my first name rather, is not defined. Next is to remove the parentheses, but bring back the double quote. It's an invalid syntax. Next that we will experiment with the code, replacing the double quote with a single quote, also known as the apostrophe. What will be the reaction of the Python? It still works the same as the double quote. Then next will be to use the print function multiple times on the same line, like so. Then let's put in a third print function, like this, and let's run. Okay, even when in the same line, the print function displays the strings by line. Next is that we will put it on different lines. We will see what will be the reaction of Python. And it works as intended. Next, to answer these questions, what is the effect the print function causes? Well, it will display the expression or the string inside the parentheses. What argument does print function expect? The argument the print function expects is the expression or the string that will be displayed. What value does the print function evaluate? Well, it will evaluate the string or the expression inside the parentheses. Now for the next part, we'll type this code in the Windows editor. And then run the code. It works as the same as the first trial, that each string is displayed on each line intended. Next, that we will modify the code using this empty print function in the middle, like so. And the empty print function served as a space for these two strings. Next will be to put a backslash n between the bitsy, no, between the spider and climb, and also rain and the word n. We will see what the reaction of the Python will be. And for the observation here, the backslash n function indicates that the expression after it will be moved to a new line. Next will be that the empty print function is inputted with a backslash n, two backslash n. Yep, not n, just backslash. Just two backslash and the reaction of the Python that it will display only one. Why is that? I still don't know it. But let's try to play around a bit. Let's try one backslash. It's not a, it's an error. But when we put three, it's still an error. But if what if we use four, an even number like the first one, which is two, it will display two backslashes. Well, Python indicates or recognizes two backslash as a one backslash when it will be displayed. So I presume that these two backslash serve as a pair. So if we put in another pair, like so, there will be six backslash and three pairs. And the reaction will be possibly three backslash. And yes, three backslash it is. Now, let's test this code. Like so. Then, the question will be the spaces removed from the strings, like here, removed from the strings, have appeared again. Can you explain why? Well, even in multiple expressions or strings in a single line, it will still considered as a one line. Like when you added a comma inside the parentheses itself with one print function, it will still recognize as a space. Next will be this code. Let's try it out. The end argument. There and run. And here we will see that the string my name is Python with the end argument connects with the Monty Python which is in the second line. So I have observed that the end argument will connect the second line to the first line. Next is the second argument, is the sep argument. What will be the reaction of the Python if we use this sep argument? And the spaces is replaced with a symbol used to be the sep argument, the dash. So what will be the reaction if we use this type of code where the set argument, the first line uses the underscore, and the set argument in the second line uses an asterisk, like so, and run. There. The observations that the set argument replaces the spaces with the indicated symbols, while the end argument still connects the second line to the first line, and it will create in display as a only one line. For the third part of the experiment is that we will use this code, the arrow code, the arrow as B, and yep, it's an arrow. We will see what this code will play around with this code. So what we will see what will happen here. So the first thing we will need to do is to minimize the number of print function invocations by inserting the backslash n sequence into the strings. Well, to print to use the backslash n function, we'll do it like this, then backslash n. Let's see if this works. Yep, it works. Then we will use it in sequence with every print function here, like what I did here. Oops, there. Once you finish replacing all the print functions with the backslash n, it will look like this. And once you run this code, it will still have a one line because the backslash n functions as a also a new line. Next is to make the arrow twice as large. So we'll go back to the arrow. To make it double its size, we'll have to analyze this code. The asterisk, which is horizontally, it's even here as the arrow because we need to keep the proportions. So first we have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 5 will be no 5 minus 1 is 4. Then we'll go with 8. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. We just have to keep the proportions and observe like so. Then we have to adjust and add more print function like this here and here, and continue on until we reach this type of code. We'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 for the arrow. 1, 2, 3, 4 for its body. And for horizontally, we have odd numbers here. So 1, 3, and 5. Here is 3, so I used 5 asterisk here and here. Now let's see what will happen. Yes, it double its size. Next is to duplicate the arrow using the asterisk 2 or multiply by 2. So let's go back with the small arrow. Oops, I think um, is go back to its original size. There. Then we just have to, let's start here first, because if we use 2 back times 2 here, times 2 here, and times 2 here, like I did here, the result will be like this. We don't want that, but rather we have to duplicate it side by side as stated here. So first I'll just have to add it around here, then align it with the front row like this, and oops, like that. Then connect it with the other ones like that, and here also the same, all on the codes. Oops, like that. And once we run this code, oops, wrong one. Yep, definitely wrong. And it needs to have the double quotes like what I did here, like this. We need to put in the codes, no, the quotes rather, with the multiplied by 2, so that when we run this code, it will duplicate itself side by side. Next is to remove any of the quotes and look carefully at Python's response by paying attention to the Python when it sees an error. We will see if this phrase that the Python highlighted is that really the error itself. Well, let's see. Let's go back to the original one. Let that one it is. We just have to bring this back like that. Well, sorry to have this time consuming. At least fun. Well, next will be to remove any of the quotes. Well, first we'll remove this like that. Let's see what will happen. And invalid syntax. But it highlighted around here, but not really the place where the quotes are. Like when I do this, it still went from there. Even here, when I lose this one, maybe here, still the same. it doesn't point out at the place itself. Next is to remove the parentheses. Let's bring back the double quote, then remove this parenthesis right here. And it's still an error with a highlight not in the respected place. Then next will be change any of the print word, like for example the capital P. Let's go with maybe here capital P, and it is not described, it is not defined rather. But when you look at closely, the first, second, third, fourth, fifth line, like here, first, second, third, fourth, fifth line is there, but the sixth line, so on, didn't get displayed, and the execution stopped at the sixth line. Yep, the sixth line. Even when we have this type of typo error, like that, it will still not be read. Python is really sensitive with the codes. See? Well, that will be it. Next is to replace some of the codes with apostrophes, like maybe here. Let's try one. And it's an error. But what if we use two? It just functions the same as the double quotes. For the conclusion, the Python is sensitive on how we approach the codes, like what you seen. The print function displays the string. The \n function works as a new line. The end argument connects the first and second line. The sep argument fills in the spaces, so on and so forth. It is also shown that how sensitive Python can be when it comes to manipulation of the codes. When it comes to the third part of the experiment, manipulation of the arrows. So, for the recommendations, it is recommended that we look carefully on the codes being run and take into account the sensitivity of the Python to get a good result. Well, that's all for this experiment. Thank you for watching.